Hello and welcome back to Dungeon Mastering Videos. I'm your host and resident nerd watcher, Nicholas DiPetrillo. Now, today we're going to be doing a special video review. We're going to be reviewing Pathfinder, a book I know many of you have been looking forward to. We're going to do something a little special with Pathfinder. We're going to review it in two parts, because Pathfinder really is two books. 575 pages long and incorporates all the information of what you would find in the Player's Handbook and the Dungeon Master's Guide of an edition of D&D, all in one book. So what we're going to do is review the first part, what would essentially be the Player's Handbook section of it. We're also incorporating the prestige classes in Pathfinder because those have sort of been nudged up to the Player's section, thankfully. Now, full disclosure, I have applied for a job at Paizo and currently am under consideration for it. However, it's my interest in Pathfinder that got me interested in Paizo, not the other way around. So, you can take that as a positive sign for the book already. I'm going to start going through the book in a little bit of order. Starting off, you have the races. They're the same races you're used to from D&D 3.5. By the way, there's going to be a lot of comparisons between Pathfinder and 3.5 and 4th edition. Because, well, both Pathfinder and 4th edition are trying to be the successor to what 3.5 started. So, comparisons are inevitable. Anyway, the races are the same races you're used to, although they've been juiced up a little bit. Most of the races get a +2 bonus to 2 ability scores and a penalty to 1. Races with human blood, so humans, half-orcs, and half-elves, get a +2 to an ability score of their choice. The races are a lot more balanced now in general with their powers. I remember playing 3.5, almost everyone was a human because they had the best racials by far. That's not the case anymore. I could definitely see myself playing any of the races in Pathfinder. I just want to show you some of the art has been changed a little bit. Particularly the gnomes have an interesting new look. If you can see there, they've sort of got an anime feel to them with the crazy, spiky colored hair. That's the biggest change, but the art in general in Pathfinder has a very different style to it. There's another look for you. I like it overall. It's a good art style. It's very actiony, and almost all of the pictures portray battle scenes. There's, large splash images at the start of every chapter that are very lovely. Moving on to classes, one of my biggest problems with 3.5 is the way you got versatility in a class was by multi-classing. You didn't have a lot of wiggle room. Class abilities were generally fixed. For instance, take the rogue. Now, the description of the rogue says you're not necessarily a thief, maybe you're a scout or a con man. But if I want to play a rogue that's a con man, I still get the sneak attack at the same level and all the same class features as a rogue that's just a ruthless, mindless killer. It doesn't feel very distinct. Now, in Pathfinder, every class has some choice to it. Rogues get special rogue talents that let them do anything from, increasing their stealth abilities to giving them minor magical abilities. Barbarians get special powers they can take while they're frenzying. So maybe your frenzy also lets you increase the distance you can climb or jump, or gives you additional hit points. Fighters, in addition to all their bonus feats, get different talents they can take. Sorcerers, very interestingly, get to pick the source of their magic. So you might have a sorcerer whose magical talent comes from being descended from a long line of wizards, and they get powers throughout their whole career that correspond to that. Or maybe your sorcerer gets his powers from a connection to undeath. Maybe an ancestor was a lich, and they get a different set of powers that corresponds to it. Every class really gets some versatility and some more choice, and those choices really seem to matter. I left out wizards to the end because I wanted to make special mention of them. Specialist wizards in 3.5, you got an extra spell slot, and that's it. You didn't feel very distinct, and let's face it, some of the specialties are useless. Even the creators knew it, which is why you can't take divination as a bard school, and if you specialize in divination, then you only have to take one other bard school. Obviously they knew divination was bad, but they didn't fix it. In Pathfinder, your specialist school gives you class abilities that are awesome for every specialty. I never would have considered playing an Abjuration specialized wizard in 3.5. Pathfinder makes it work. Moving on to the skill system, there's not a lot that's changed here. They've consolidated some skills, so the obvious ones like hide in shadows and move silently are one skill now, thankfully. Other than that, they messed with the math a little bit. So if something's a class skill for you, you can take one rank in it for every level you have, but you get a +3 bonus for it being a class skill that you're trained in. Basically the same effect as how it worked in 3.5, just simplified a little bit. You don't have the arbitrary, your max rank is your level +3. Going to feats, a lot of the old feats you love are returning. You get feats a little more often now in Pathfinder, and there are some new set of feats. Particularly interesting are critical feats that adjust what happens when you score a critical hit. For instance, there are critical feats that can blind the character you critted against, or deafen them. And that adds, a lot of flavor to how your character crits, but otherwise, it's the same feats you know and love. Oh, I also forgot, they give you the ability to specialize in improvised weapons, which I always loved from the Drunken Master Prestige class in 3.5, and it's something that anyone can do now. It's just a little thing, but it's something that I happen to like.